Thank you very much for clicking on today's video. We do a bunch of different stuff in this one, from seat fitment to new parts coming into the shop, looking at getting the radiator set up in the car, a bunch of fun stuff like that. If you haven't yet, make sure to check out fletch95.com to get your very own cool race car stuff, merchandise, or just our other team merch as well. Be sure to hit the like button and make sure that you're subscribed. Thanks for watching. Okay, gonna give you a little status update just as to where we're at. It's week 2 of putting this car together, so let's catch you up a little bit. First things first, engine is still in the race car. You can see us fitting that for the first time in the first part of this series of putting this car together, as well as front suspension is on the car. At least it's all mocked in. Nothing's final yet. But that's all mocked in. Steering rack is in the car. The big deal last time was that the rack clears the oil pan on this SB 2.2 engine. Everybody was a little bit worried about that. On the other side of the car, in what we would call the tunnel, here we've got the bell housing and transmission hung off the back of the engine here. Our oil pump is also in here. That's up top. This is a 5-stage pump, and it's also got the power steering pump as well as the fuel pump hung off the back. And our oil filter housing is also hung in there. All of this is to get a mock fit so that we can start running lines so that the engine can be plumbed nicely and properly. So that is where we are at the moment. Now we're going to go ahead and try to make a little bit of progress, starting with the seat.
Are these recording, Fletchy?
Yes.
They're just getting Tucker's butt.
No shot. That wasn't that bad.
I think I got room to go back on the seat, don't I?
Yeah, you do. You got, I don't know, a couple inches. Looks like. Yeah, a couple inches maybe. Get in here. Got those pedals. Fletcher's little weird socks. Better never on all the way. First time sitting in your Warrior.
It's
It's your first time. The height, look at the height, Dad.
yeah, you got a ton of height. I was just looking.
Yeah, he's got a lot of room, which is good.
Let me see.
Obviously, I think you're going to sit a little taller on the final fit.
Yeah.
Plus, you'll have a helmet and all that stuff. So, well, do you want the head surround?
Head surround.
Like, decapitate yourself.
Watch out for the outside.
Now go above you, if you can. Knock your hand off, there you go.
How bad is it? It's tough. So the seat is about 50% installed at the moment. You can see I'm working on my placement of my steering shaft here, and then we're working on belts and that kind of stuff, and then the angle of the seat kind of like this, you know, and then getting the mounting figured out. So we're about half done with that. Seats in the car kind of marked up to where we kind of think we need to put everything, but we're not quite there yet. Fuel cell boxes here. There it is. out of the box. Brand new fuel cell. This is a Superior cell. Cap there. Okay, got the fuel cell unpacked. So this is a Superior 26-gallon cell. We'll start by looking at the top. So this is the fill. And then this is the little rollover in there. It's a little flap, little rollover flap. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. This is the vent. This is the dipstick. Comes with a built-in dipstick. This is fuel return, and this is fuel out. Okay, and then here are the straps. It's required to have straps, so here's the bottom straps and the top straps. Yeah, that's what a fuel cell looks like out of the box. So the next thing we're going to do is fit the cage, which is right here. And then we will fit the cell in the race car. Back of the race car, underneath the deck, right here. And then if you've seen our short on our little access panels, then we can begin to place the access panels.
Another awesome shipment arrived here. Our buddies over at Pro Systems brought us our brake system, so we're going to be digging into this a little bit and getting all that stuff mounted as well. Pro Systems has also hooked us up with our pedal system, which was huge. That was really what we needed to start on the cockpit. So, because we're kind of basing everything around how the pedals get hung and the seat fit together. Finally, over here, we've got our new rear end that's ready to get assembled and put in the car. Obviously, it is not yet assembled, so we're going to need to do that next. Lots and lots and lots of work to do, but the big thing is that the parts are in the shop. So now we should be able to pretty much cook on everything and get this car put together in a fairly quick turnaround.
So before the engine comes back out, which it will at least one more time, hopefully only one more time, we've got to mount the radiator to make sure we've got a good idea of all that. So on the race car, the radiator is going to mount on this bar right here. And you see we've got tabs here for the mounting struts. The bottom of the radiator, though, this one has a little bit of a trough. So what I'm going to have to do is scallop out for those two tabs, which I'll just use a Dremel tool. So what I'll do is I'll place the radiator in the car, and then I'll mark the radiator for where those tabs are, and we'll scallop that out. From there, I'll build a new trough that it will sit on to kind of spread the load of that bar out. And then we've got a trough for the top on the parts tray right here. And then that'll go to the top. And then the two struts we also have so that they can go from these tabs into a couple of tabs in the upper mount. And so the radiator will have mounts on the tabs on the lower. It'll also mount to these right here in the crossbar, upper crossbar.
This is the shroud that we built last year for the radiator. Dad and I put this together. I think we'll run it again because it
was like a 30%.
Cooling by like 30%.
It was a lot back to back.
So we'll probably do that again.
We got a lot of comments that we did it wrong, but it did cool the car. Yeah.
Try not to beat the shit out of it.
Tool in there. Okay, that's good. So these are the two marks we made for the tabs in the frame. So I'm just going to take a Dremel tool and I'm just going to relieve that area nice and Alright, so here is the bar in the car, and then here's my little plate that I made. That'll sit like that. So what I gotta do is put the radiator back in it and mark kind of where the edges are on the tube, and then I can place this left to right. What I'll probably do is run a rivet in the front of it. I should have given myself a little bit bigger lip, but I didn't, so we got what we got in that regard. Sorry, Tucker, I forgot to turn the mic on for that last segment that I just filmed. That's my bad. It's my B. This is my B. This is my B. I will say that dremeling on the radiator is a great way to shake stuff out, vibrate stuff out. Black marker on black tube, that works really, really good usually. Now I will place this right there. Upper mount is on the radiator, so I got to go from this tab to this mount, and then from this tab to this mount. I'm going to use this cool little tool to bend it. It'll take a couple of tries and a little bit of fitment. My initial bend right there. I went a little bit too far, so I just put it on the table and gave it a little bit of elbow grease and straightened it out just a little bit. And here's what we ended up with. So I'm going to mark those two holes, and we'll get it mounted up, and then we'll measure up the other side. After some wise words from Dad, frustrating but wise, I had to move the radiator forward from where I had it placed. So let's take a look. My fan has a little bit longer stanchion on it than standard because I've got a little bit of a different crank pulley setup. This is something I could change, but is beyond what I really want to do at the moment. So to account for that, I had to move the radiator further forward. So I moved it further forward. I got about 5/8 of an inch gap between the fan and the core of the radiator, and I moved it forward, but I covered up the factory holes for mounting. So that's a little frustrating because I really liked the factory mounting, thought it was pretty nice, but it's not going to work given what I have for a fan stanchion and a pulley setup. So what we did last year was actually just we used a similar mount on the top to this, and then used big heavy duty zip ties, and that's probably what we'll do again. Either that, or I can add tabs to this lower bar, which is removable, but I don't know if I want or should do that. I normally run a plate over the top here to cover the fan, so somebody doesn't get their finger caught in a fan blade. It's going to be really close to the top of the fan here, so that's something I may have to put a little bubble in it. If you like cool race car stuff, make sure to like and subscribe. Check out our Patreon page for extra content, and we also have t-shirts available. This is actually a couple years old, but we have t-shirts available on our website, and you can find the rest of our social pages there as well. We'll see you next week for part 3, and hopefully we're a lot closer at the end of part 3.